Hi, friends. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Katie, and welcome to Okay, But Did You Know? A podcast where we talk about the TV and media that we love with a friend who's never seen it before.
Today we're recapping and chatting about Once Upon a Time, episode 210, The Cricket Game. This episode aired on January 6th, 2013. It was written by David H. Goodman and Robert Hull, and was directed by Dean White. Now, before we get into our chatting and chaos, and this one's going to be fun, let's get into a synopsis for the episode. In the Enchanted Forest, having won their battle against King George, Snow and Charming set their sights on finishing their feud with Regina. After she is captured, they sentence her to death to keep her from tormenting their kingdom or others. But when Snow has a change of heart, she gives Regina a test to see if the woman she was before is still buried underneath her evil facade. When Regina fails the test and almost kills Snow, Rumpelstiltskin's protection spell is enacted, and now Regina can never harm Snow or Charming in this realm again. But he reminds her that she can still harm them should she take them somewhere else. And in Storybrooke, after a heated conversation at Emma and Snow's welcome back party, Regina feels betrayed that Archie has been telling them that she went to see him for help as she tries to change and be better for Henry. As Cora is watching from afar, she sees her opportunity to finally break Regina so that she will need her, and frames her daughter for the therapist's death. Emma is convinced that Regina is innocent, but after a quick magic lesson with Mr. Gold, she sees what looks like Regina strangling Archie, and confronts Regina at her home. Regina gets away, but now the whole town, including Henry, think Archie is dead. That is, until we see what Cora had planned for him, now locked up in the hold of the Jolly Roger, so that Killian can make this cricket chirp. I cannot tell you how happy I am to no longer have 3-part synopses.
I had a feeling.
This is like a regular length. I did a word count of the synopsis for Queen of Hearts, and it's just under 500 words, which is your average length essay for, an elementary school student.
Oh my god.
I wrote an essay.
Good job.
But not anymore.
This episode, though.
This was a good episode.
Oh my goodness. But I have to make you laugh to start off with, though. Always.
Okay.
My first thing I wrote down was, imagine doing your job and getting turned into a fish.
That poor man.
That poor man.
I was like, subtle movements. I don't have time for you. Turns you into a fish.
You're just trying to do your job. You're just doing what you're supposed to do. And now you're a fish.
Yeah, but I do wonder why he didn't question why there were 2 people clearly in Storybrooke clearly wearing clothing from the Enchanted Forest. Maybe we ask why she's wearing a ball gown and he's in all leather.
Yeah, it's we know the curse is broken. Dude, you should know it's kind of at least somewhat going on.
Yeah.
How are you oh, welcome. What do you mean welcome? Where do you think these people came from?
Exactly.
And then just all caps. I needed to help her rest. That whole scene. Let's make tacos.
Hey, guess what? Taco shells are on sale. Apparently, tacos not a big item in the Enchanted. What are you guys still doing in bed? It's the middle of the afternoon. The trip back was tiring, and I needed to rest, and I needed to help her rest. Let's go make the tacos. We have to make a lot because there's going to be a ton of people at Granny's welcome back party tonight. We thought you were going to be back later. Yeah, we weren't. So maybe next time you can put a tie on the door, or send a text, or I'm going to go make some tacos. It's impressive that we can still provide her with a few traumatic childhood memories at this stage of the game. It's such a good scene, and my question is...
I wrote that last line down, though, and put, I am deceased.
My question, though, is this is an open floor plan apartment. If they had just been having their first marital relations in 28 years, how were they planning on getting out of bed with Emma and Henry right there in that kitchen? What was the thought process there?
They're just gonna keep resting.
Yeah, they're gonna keep resting real fast. I love that scene. That scene is just so... That scene is chaotic, and the fandom has taken on making tacos as a euphemism now.
Oh, goodness.
And Jenny and Josh truthfully do run with it. It's hilarious. There's a behind-the-scenes video, I think, from season 4 of them showing us around the set and everything. And when they get to Mary Margaret's apartment set, they literally go, this is the kitchen where we make tacos, and this is the bedroom where we make tacos.
Make tacos.
It's too good.
Oh, goodness. I gotta explain this reference to my husband so I can just start using this.
I think it's a good idea.
Because then he will not understand it in the slightest. He'll be like, why are we using this now?
Why not, is my question.
So the Blue Fairy is here again.
Yes. Blue is involved.
She appears. Which is, I'm laughing because one of the recent videos was us discussing the Blue Fairy and what she could have been, and I'm just like, it made me think of that watching this. I'm like, we almost had something really cool here.
Yeah. Unfortunately not. She's just kind of she's involved. She's just always involved for no particular reason.
Which could have made for a very interesting...
It could have. Yeah. It could have. And the writers chose not to.
So I did really love the amount that Emma was defending Regina and trying to, like, she was trying so hard. And Regina was working really hard. Yeah. But then when they get into this whole thing of, like, Regina getting mad about Archie, and I'm like, Archie isn't exactly a licensed therapist. Like...
She admits that.
I know. And I'm like, why are you so angry? Like, but, I'm sure you have answers as to why she's so angry, but I'm just... You always do. You have all the answers. I have just questions.
I'm a plethora of semi-useless knowledge. What can I say?
And which I laugh at because for the longest time you were like, I have all these things in my head. They're not, they're semi-useless. And yet look at what we do now. So they are useless. I mean, useful. God.
they are useless. No, that's why.
No, they're useful.
That's why I always say semi-useless. It leaves room for interpretation. There is a use case somewhere.
Yeah, here. But no, like, just going back into, like, Archie's not a therapist.
No, he's not.
He's a cricket. Who cares too much. But then you got your PhD from a curse. I think I, like, audibly cackled.
Yeah.
When that was said. Because, oh my God.
It's such a good line. Because it's that followed up with Ruby running up to them and going, like, what's going on here? And she goes, private conversation, go take yourself for a walk.
Like, oh...
It's just
she's Regina, but she's still evil queen.
She's still the evil queen. She's trying. It's Regina's redemption tour. She's trying, and maybe with Cora coming back soon, we might see her kind of give up on it for a little while.
Growth is not linear.
It's not.
And then, of course, I did I love me some evil queen because, like, the whole scene of her going in and doing things when it came to Archie and doing that. I'm like, I'm not even mad. It's Regina. And then I went, wait, that's not Regina.
No, it's not. And actually, this is the one time I noticed this. The hint before the final reveal of that's not Regina is the fact that she used that same magic to freeze Pongo as she normally does. Like, it's the same magic that she'll use to freeze anybody else. It's that same kind of blue shimmery kind of magic.
Yeah.
So that's your first hint that this is not Regina.
I wish I had picked up on that. And of course I'm doing, like, oh my God, is he dead? Like, that usual stuff. Because, of course, everybody's like, is Archie dead? So the whole time we're thinking, oh, well, the cricket died. But then I just wrote, Regina is hot in anything.
She is. I would say season 2 is my favorite season for her looks. Like, not just her costumes, but Lana's hair. Just like, because her hair will go through various iterations. She'll grow it out for a couple. Like, I would say probably she's growing it out at this point through season 5, then she'll cut it back again in season 6. Like, right here is like my favorite. Like, just the look of it is all so perfect.
She's so pretty.
She is pretty.
And then they tied her up and they put the blindfold on her. And I wrote, I'm having some very adult thoughts right now. So this episode made me feel things. It verified I'm not straight.
The evil queen will do that to you.
She will. I'm like, but I did get really into the thoughts of this, like, Henry has changed Regina.
Yeah.
Emma is right that she isn't the evil queen anymore. But, like, Regina is not. Like, she's completely different now with how much raising Henry has done to her.
Yeah.
And I keep getting frustrated because I know everybody else is like, oh, but she's evil. Okay, but Henry's been a part of this situation his whole life.
Yeah.
So when are they going to start, like, be more like Emma, give a little, like, have some understanding?
It'll take time. And this is the thing that I put in our notes of, like, the writers were asked about the quasi anti-adoption rhetoric in their show. And they did not explain themselves very well. I did watch the full clip again because it had been a while since I'd watched the entire clip. I usually stopped after the first section because that's the one that really misses the mark. Is the question is, what do you have to say to the idea that, because what your characters are saying is that, Regina is not his mother. And Eddie's his response is, they don't hate Regina because they think she's a bad mother. They hate her because she repeatedly tries to kill them. which is fair, but that is not an answer to the question that is asked.
Yeah, it's not.
That is giving justification for why they dislike her. That is not justification for saying, for having your character say that he is not your son. That's not an answer to the question. And like, they keep going on, and like as the season goes on, Emma and Mary Margaret will have more moments of like, she did raise him. Like they do come, like Emma has that is already kind of there-ish, and then I'm like, you don't really my whole time watching this episode is like, Emma, you don't really have a say in who your son spend time.
She doesn't.
Right now, legally, she truthfully does have no say. Like, nothing has changed about our timeline. Legally, Henry is Regina's son. We're starting out there.
They're not recognizing these laws because
they're
like,
all from... Exactly. They're all from the Enchanted Forest. They don't really care. But, like, the video kind of kept going on, and, like, they're like, you know, they think she's a bad influence, and then it got funny where Lana was, like, making faces, and she turns to Robert Carlyle and goes, what do you think, Bobby? Do you think I'm a bad influence? He goes, not at all. She's like, thank you. Like, very, very self-justified. It's a fun clip. We'll put it in the show notes. But it's that bit of, like, they were asked to speak on it, and all they did was reiterate what was already said. They didn't actually answer the question of, like, why are you, if this is your stance, why are you having your character say this is the question, and they just didn't answer it. So it wasn't the best way to, it felt a little bit like backtracking, but after watching it, I'm like, they're just reiterating, like, here's what everyone is saying. Here is the exact same thing, just worded differently. It's not really a justification, nor is it an explanation of their true stance. And, like, you can always have your characters say things differently than you believe. Like, obviously, writers and characters do not have to believe the same things. But I don't believe in... honestly, I would never have an issue with that scene at the end if what they said was she's unfit to be his mother. It's the fact that they say that she is not his mother that I continue to have issue with that scene.
Which is not right. She's been raising him.
Exactly. That's not correct. So it's the fact that the characters are saying you're not his mother. That's the issue I have. And he goes, well, they don't think she's an unfit mother. I'm like, but if that was what they said, no one would care. No one would have this question if what they said was she's unfit. I would believe that. I don't believe that they don't think she's his mother.
Yeah, because, like, it goes back to, like, their thoughts are just straight up like, well, she's evil, she tries to kill us, because then I go back to, like, how does an empty file equal Regina did it?
Exactly.
Like, you don't know what was in the file before it was emptied, or if it was always empty. No one knows, so why are you immediately, oh, it's empty, Regina did it? Like, it's just, she's evil, so they put everything on her. Which sucks, and Cora's a fucking genius, but at the same time, I'm just like, anger, emotions, can't go through the computer.
Not how you forge a relationship with your daughter.
Exactly.
It's not how that works.
Oh my goodness. And then I was like, are they going to get Pongo to talk? I was wrong.
Well, I mean, to be fair, why did no one think, can you just ask Ruby to ask Pongo?
Yeah.
Why didn't we think of that?
Yeah, because apparently Snow can only talk to birds.
But Ruby could understand Pongo when he came up to them.
That's true. But, like, oh, and then when they said on this land, like Magic Blade and, like, on this land, I was like, ooh, there we go. And then I wrote again, too, like, them fighting over Henry gets me. I get they both love him, but Regina did raise him. Like, I'm going to be stuck on this for a while. Like, yes, Emma birthed him, but she's been gone. She was not a part of his life for, what was it, 9, 10 years?
10 years.
10 years. So where in these people's minds is it like, oh, well, that's his mother because she birthed him? What about the woman that's been raising him for a decade?
Well,
like, I'm literally about to have a child who's a decade old. That is a lot of love and care and work. Regina is Henry's mother.
She is. And at this point in the timeline, it absolutely is clear cut. She raised him. That full stop. That's nothing has happened. Stuff is going to get murky in season 3 that I can't go further into other than when I say right now, the legality. That's going to change because something is going to happen. Things are going to be shaken up in season 3. I love that I can talk about that at least with some sense of, you'll see it within like the next 4 months. But it's going
to be a crazy summer.
It's going to be a great summer.
It really is.
It's going to be. Season 3, I think, I don't know if I've said it on the podcast or just talking to you. Season 3, for me, has some high highs and some low lows. It's going to be all over the place. And I do apologize for anyone. If they like Rumpelstiltskin, Balefire, or Pan, my commentary may not be for you. Just a warning.
But opinions are subjective.
And I know my opinions are not rooted in anything problematic. My opinions are based on my personal experience.
So I then started just asking questions in my notes because I like this show. While I'm thoroughly enjoying it, I love it. I really do.
I'm glad.
There's so many times that I'm like, why are we doing this? Like, who is teaching at the school now?
There are other teachers. It's not just Mary Margaret.
But who, like, it's, what are they teaching?
I don't know.
Are they teaching, like, because I know they're like, the blend, kind of blended.
Yeah, it's very similar to like the Wagstaff school situation of like, it's pretty much one schoolhouse for all of the age groups for the most part.
Well, I meant like the people, like there's Storybrooke and they're like, Fairy Tale Land, kind of. So I'm like, are they getting fairy tale lessons now? Like, what's happening?
I mean, to be fair, I believe every single lesson we ever see Snow teach when she does go back to teaching is the same bird lesson. Oh, no, that's wrong. She teaches one lesson on Newton's laws of motion in season 6, and it aired while I was like about to start student teaching, and I was like, this is not how you teach anything.
Oh no.
It's so bad. No one checked with any of the teachers that are on set, like how to formulate a lesson. They just went for it. And I'm like, that is not how teaching physics works, but okay.
Oh no, I'm letting my husband cover physics. Nope. I will say, at least with my homeschool program, we have an actual like homeschool online program with actual teachers that we use. I am not my child's like only teacher. She's got all these different classes. And they're not like one-on-one. It's mostly videos, but I work with her on them. So it is a qualified teacher teaching the lesson. Yeah. And it's made, like the lessons are made by people in education. So like, because I'm just sitting here like, I can't teach my children things. Like, I can help.
There you go.
The next question, I don't know if you're going to be able to answer it, but is anyone in this a qualified parent? Like, are they qualified to be a parent? I know we can all lay down and have a child. When I say all, you know what I mean. But
Regina, I'm
struggling.
I would say Regina's a qualified parent in this situation.
Because there's so many situations in this show, and I'm like, you're a parent. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Stop doing that.
No, I would say Regina might be the only qualified parent, because quite frankly, in the situation, I mean, Cora doesn't, not that Cora doesn't count, but like in the main storyline situation.
Cora is good God, narcissistic.
Cora's her own thing. Regina is the only one.
Narcissistic mommy.
Regina is the only one that has like years of experience parenting. At least David had, I think the assumption of the timeline is about a month with Henry. Because she's not wrong in her thing of when Emma like thinks she knows what's best for Henry, and she goes, what, in the 5 minutes that you've known him, while it is a harsh flip of trying to get in their good graces and then immediately lashes out, because Regina is very reactionary. Yes. She's always quick to react more than anything else. She's not wrong.
No, she's not.
Like, Emma does spend a lot of the episode going like about like, you know, mom things and like almost playing at being a mom until the very end, where she realizes, oh, this means doing the hard things.
It does. And like that's where I got really angry with it, is like, while Emma's there and she's like, I'm his mom, I get to do things, like, it is not all rainbows and sunshine. No, it's not. It really truly isn't. The amount of things that I've done as a parent is extremely stressful. You've got the nightmares, you've got the sad times, you've got the tantrums, you've got it's so much work to be a parent. As
the season goes on, Emma is going to have made a very big mistake when it comes to Henry, and he's going to start treating her the way he treated Regina in season 1, and she deserves it.
Oh, I can't wait. Oh my goodness. Because like, I'm not mad at Emma, it's just she's very naive.
She is.
And I did start tearing up watching Regina break.
Yeah.
Like, but it really went from, oh my God, I'm tearing up, Regina's breaking, I can't deal with this, to they go, oh, Regina's hot again. Like, there is no buffer between these moments happening. It's just like, oh no, she's so sad. And then, oh, that's an outfit. Like, there is no in between.
It goes right from she's sobbing in the car to, ooh, she's sexy.
Exactly. And I'm just sitting here like, oh no, don't give me these conflicted emotions. That's not what I was going for watching this, but here we are.
This is absolutely why I made you watch this show. Because I knew
I'm gonna make you feel something, but then also like mess with your sexuality.
Because I knew that you were gonna at somehow latch on to Regina, whether it's the same way that I do, where and basically I will defend her and I will find loopholes and all this other shit. You may not be at that level, but whether she's your favorite character or not, I knew you would latch onto her somehow because you're kind of like me in that this actor is hot. I like her.
Yes.
That's basically it.
Like, look at Ruby. I latched onto Ruby. I'm latched onto Belle for other reasons.
Yeah.
But, like, they're all good reasons. But, like, obviously Regina. Obviously.
I love that you mentioned Ruby. Can you go to our script real quick? Because I put a drop down with a photo I would like you to look at.
You did not.
Yeah, it says behind the scenes photo of Lana and Megan.
Let me go full screen on this.
It might take a second to load.
Oh!
It's so precious. We'll put it in the Instagram. It's a behind the scenes photo. Clearly, it's from the shoot day of Lana and Raphael and Megan doing you got your PhD from a curse, and it's them with their massive parkas, and Megan's got the hood over her head, and you have the camera next to them just covered in plastic wrap. And
they're so cute.
They're so cute together, and like again, Red Queen is the epitome of. The actors just look cute next to each other, and also if Regina needed some kind of outlet, Ruby's there. Just saying.
And then I went back to Pinky and the Brain.
Yep.
Like, it's just constantly returning to Pinky and the Brain.
We're getting close to when I can send you the video that's the edit of their scenes up against the theme song. I want to say the last scene in that is, I want to say 306.
Okay, so we got a little bit of time.
We have a little less than a season before you can see that.
And then I wrote the line, how do I know? It's my first day in town.
It's the best. It's truthfully, but that's Cora. How do I know?
Because I'm like, who did she kill?
We don't know. Who did
she kill?
We'll never know. We're never told who she actually killed.
There's a minute amount of people from the Enchanted Forest. Mm-hmm. But we don't know who's dead.
No. Because there are more people than just our main players,
but
really.
No one was like, hey, this person's missing?
Well, no one ever said anything about the guy that got turned into a fish either.
Did the poor fish guy have no friends?
I guess.
Oh my god.
But yeah, there's enough supporting, like, I would say enough supporting players, enough NPCs, basically, that, like, people can just get killed. It's fine.
This fucking episode. Dude.
It's a good one. For how many one-liners we have that I highlighted, I'm surprised this episode wasn't written by Jane Espenson.
That's fair.
Because this is a writer combo. This is Robert Hull and David H. Goodman, right?
Yes. I think that's what you said.
This is a writing combo that I normally do not like. However, it's nothing with their writing. It's something about, I guess, however they assign who gets what episodes and stuff. Usually when these two write together, it's also usually Rumpelstiltskin focused episodes. So I think that might be part of it.
Yeah.
I've noticed in my old stats rewatches, usually the two of them, it just doesn't perform as well for me. This is all subjective, but it's also directed by Dean White, who's directed some of my favorite episodes. So my brain is like, I don't know how to. This is very much like in like the graph of how things perform. This is very much an outlier and everything. Fun fact, just in case wanted you to know this, the dog who plays Pongo's name is Cinder.
Oh, that's fitting.
That is in fact the only fun fact I found for this episode. I couldn't find a lot of them.
There's just not much on it.
There's just not much on this episode.
So we can just gush on Regina more.
Basically, we can just gush on Regina and on Cora, and that's basically the rest of it. My thing was the blue fairy magic, the immobilization thing that you pointed out that she's back. Mm-hmm. That the world building of her magic mobilizing people would work just fine in my mind if they hadn't just retconned what made Rumple immobile in season 1. Because the initial line from 104 is the blue fairy enchanted this quill and anyone signs their name with it will be immobile, their magic made impotent. So her magic being able to do that would make perfect sense if they hadn't said, but actually, it wasn't the quill, it was the ink. Like,
oh, but now it's the fairy again.
But it's the fairy again, basically. So,
can we just say both is true? And
both are true. It's fine. Both are true.
It bugs me. It does bug me. But I'm just like, we're gonna move on.
We are gonna breathe. We're gonna take a breath. We're gonna move on.
Take a breath.
And let some things go.
See, we have things in common
every once in a while. But I love when Regina walks in. Obviously, she says, "Sorry, I'm late," which is indicative of the pilot. And my response to that was, "Sorry, I'm late. I didn't want to come," which
that's me.
Is fair. But if you look very closely at everyone's responses, and yes, Emma's the only one that was expecting her, but everyone else recoils or looks stunned. Emma smiles when she sees her walk in. And
they have such like ability to possibly be like the best mommies ever, and they just constantly
when they finally start to become like co-parents, partners in crime kind of situation, it works really well for them. It really does. Like it's like when they work together, they work together really well. When they're up against each other, they really, really butt heads. But like in correlation with the fact that Emma smiles when she walks in, you can see on Emma's face when Regina is surprised that they tell her that Archie is dead. Emma believes her instantly. You can see it on her. You can see it on her face. And I do love the cinematography of that scene, because after Regina's line of, "I'm glad to see the sheriff station's now family business," they pan away to seeing Snow in the other room behind the one-way mirror, which, to be fair, she shouldn't be there, because, like, if we're going to go off of real world, I guess, procedures, random civilians shouldn't be watching interviews. But I do love the cinematography of, even though she's not in the room, the reflection of her in the glass puts her in the room with them.
Oh yeah.
Which is like, so it's still, you're getting that family business aspect of it, even though she's not physically there, she's still seeing everything happening.
I feel like they're gonna, I'm assuming they're gonna keep doing this type of thing, though. They're not really keeping to completely what the human world, like our world,
oh yeah, no, they
kind of sticks to. They very much are like, well, I mean, she's the princess, she's gonna be around.
This is not a procedural. They're not gonna. This is what I say about going forward, basically, even with the Storybrooke stuff, is that the show has effectively changed its genre to that of modern fantasy. So, like, it's their own little world. Emma's staying the sheriff because she was elected the sheriff. David is just now also the sheriff because Prince and he took over, and they need more people to work.
Charming.
They need more people to work for the sheriff station anyway. Regina will go back to being the mayor. Like I said my thing of, in the beginning of the season, they asked her to leave, but like, no one filled the spot, so she just kind of went back to her office.
I'm sure no one knows what they're supposed to do either, and she's like the only qualified person?
Pretty much. So it's like, it's a lot of that kind of structure will maintain itself a little bit, but it's they don't stick to real world logic. I try not to put too much real world logic on the show, but sometimes I'm just like, legality. Like,
as we put so much real world logic on a cartoon.
Yeah. It's like, it really is. It's the legality of this whole situation, and or just everything else. I'm like, it's not how that works, but okay. But I do love Regina's speech when she is about to be executed, or so we think. Because it's very indicative of a woman who has put on a facade her entire life, and even if there's a chance it could save her, she refuses to die letting it slip, because she's been taught to uphold strength and not show weakness her entire life. And when she shows weakness, it never goes well for her. So
that is true.
So her thing of, she's gonna start the speech with like regret of these things that I did, and what she regrets is not causing more pain and misery and not killing Snow White. And we'll see as the show goes on Regina's relationship with regret and remorse and how it changes. Because truthfully, regret is feeling badly for things you've done and wishing you could change them. That's like the important thing between like regret and remorse. You can feel remorse, you can feel poorly for the things that you've done without wishing to change them, which is different. They're two very different things. That'll come up again in season 3. But she's so focused on not showing weakness in that moment, and it really is. I love that Snow's mercy comes from seeing the good in Regina.
Yeah.
Because David's thing, and he very specifically says, is all he's ever seen of her is the evil and the bad. And Snow's like, there's another person in there that I've seen. She saved me. She cared for me for however brief of a time. You know, there is someone in there who is good, and she wants the chance to bring it out. And you know, at the end of the day, it really is a life for a life. She saved Regina's life as Regina saved her once, and that's kind of it. Her line of "there's no going back from killing" is phenomenal foreshadowing that I cannot elaborate on. But knowing it's there makes me so happy. Because I heard.
I just need all of our listeners to know just how much I hate that I can't binge.
And that makes me very happy that you want to binge.
So bad. Every time I finish an episode, and then I start. Almost every time I finish an episode, Lauren just gets her name in all caps texted to her because I went to yell at her.
Usually, yes.
Most times. And then there's other times that I'm like, what the fuck did I just watch? But, which is usually what I get as well from you. Katie, what did I just watch?
There's so much Hugo.
But it's one of those that I'm just like, I want to keep going, but I have to wait like minimum like 5-6 days.
Yeah.
Because I usually watch right now I'm watching by like Thursday, Friday, but we don't record until Monday. And so then I can't watch again until the next Thursday or Friday.
Yeah.
Sometimes at the latest day of, because my life gets crazy and I'm just like, I need to know what happens next. And you've already teased the next episode for me. So I'm just like, it's only Monday. If I watch tonight, I will not have anything to talk about a week from today because I have the brain of a squirrel.
Yeah.
So it sucks. It's awesome, but it sucks. My husband's like this, though. He's the type of person who doesn't usually binge. He will literally, we've watched shows before. He will literally watch maybe an episode or two a week and make it go slow. And I'm like, you're killing me. I have him binging something right now, though, and it is the best feeling in the world because there is no, hey, what do you want to watch tonight when we like curl up in bed together before, like once the kids are down? No, he's already got it on Netflix because he knows exactly what he wants to watch. He's binging Shameless. He just finished season 8.
Nice.
We have 3 more seasons to go, and I am enjoying myself. I get to binge something. I've already watched it, but I'm binging it again with him. And I'm just like, finally, I get to binge something. Because he doesn't usually let me.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to probably start the 100 after that.
Oh, nice.
Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah. So in the similar vein of Snow, you know, seeing the good in Regina, I love that. Something that I have said, but also my moderators have said and people in my chat have said before in other comments, that for so much of the show, and I think most people really see this starting in season 4, but it even really starts here, is that Snow kind of parents Regina more than Regina ever parented Snow.
Okay.
We'll see that more as it goes on, as Snow kind of helps bring Regina into the path of good and redemption and all that other stuff. But especially in this situation, because Regina's kind of acting like the petulant child and willing to let go of a grudge. And Snow is the one who's just looking for the woman who saved her life to be her family. She's like, I know this person isn't you. I know that this tantrum isn't really you. We just have to get her out. And unfortunately for right now, she's wrong. But scenes with Snow and Regina, or just really with Lana and Ginny, just always give me chills because they work so well together, the two of them. And we're going to see so many more scenes of the two of them like right up against each other. And it just, one of them created one of my favorite memes that I unfortunately cannot find anymore, but I'll recite it to you when we get there. But it's the relationship is so fun to watch, but just the acting of them together is so good. And I love it. We talked enough about my thoughts on the he's not your son, he's mine scene. I don't really need to reiterate my thoughts from earlier of this is not the way to go about things. However, I still don't understand how Regina throwing Emma down the walkway equals now Henry will never believe your lies. We know who you are and how you will always be. I don't really know, much like the file is empty, she must have killed him. I don't see how that connection works. Like, just because
she used magic,
she was provoked because you are yelling at her, telling her that her son is not hers. Yes, she's going to lash out. That's exactly. That wasn't unprovoked. That was definitely something.
Well, it makes me think too about like how are we going to see Snow and Charming continue with this whole thing of being parents, because Emma's an adult.
They're going to struggle.
There's not like that's not something you can just jump in and be like, well, we're your parents. You have to listen. You abandon her.
Well, literally.
She grew up without you. Like, there is no, we're your parents. Like, okay, yeah, you're her parents. You don't have any rights over her. You don't have anything to say about what she does.
Mm-hmm.
She's an adult.
Yeah. Well, literally in the season 3 premiere, there's going to be a moment when she's trying to figure out what to do next, and Snow starts talking about things, and she starts going like, "No, let us share from our wisdom." And Emma lashes back at her, rightfully so, going, "We're the same age. We have equal amounts of wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
Like, your wisdom doesn't help me here." So she's very rightfully going to lash out at everything, and that's season 3. But we'll see. Well, they have a hard time reconciling the relationship, and it'll take a while to get there, but they'll get there. So how did you rate this episode? What'd you give it?
It's a 30.
Once you started texting me that, like, you're like, this is such a good episode of television, like, not even like a good episode of the show,
like it was a good episode of television,
like this is just a good TV episode. Like, once you said, I had a feeling it was going to be a 30.
Yeah, like when you're watching something that's just not good, like just because of what it is,
Mm-hmm.
like because it's in this show, I was like, I think if I were watching this and like Steven was sitting with me, even he would have been like pulled into it with no knowledge.
Yeah.
Because it was that good.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was definitely a 30.
No.
Like, I mean, I have few complaints other than like just like storyline stuff of what we're already dealing with and what we've been discussing with the parenting and everything as a mom. But apart from that, like 10 out of 10. Like, this was amazing.
30 out of 30.
30 out of 30. You know what I mean?
I know what you
10
mean.
out of 10 for all the different things.
I know what you mean. So I wanted to give this a 30. I wanted to.
And why did you not?
So like it gets a 10 for plot and a 10 for character, but it gets a 7 for personal because of that scene, but also because of how it was handled by the writers, where they really didn't actually address the question at all. The actors had a better response to that question than the writers. Like, when asked to justify why don't you feel this way, you don't just reiterate the same thing. That's not an answer to the question. So that tends to hurt it. So it gets a 7 for personal, giving it a 27 in total, if I didn't say that already, which is still a phenomenal score. That just flavors how I feel about things.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that. We do have time for the other story time.
Okay, give me your story time.
Okay, so to close this out, we have a fandom story time, just because we've been talking about the Paley Fest from 2013, that from a moment that isn't the best moment. It has some funny parts in it, but not the best moment. But for whatever reason, at this moment in time in the fandom, there was a point when all of the actors, for whatever reason, on Twitter were calling each other a bowl of soup, like as an insult, as an identifier, is like, oh, like, you bowl of soup kind of thing. I was gonna say I don't know where it started. I know where it started. That's the point of the story. But so at the Paley Fest event, Bobby was asked by the moderator, "Can you explain this?" And she's like, "Do I have to?" The entire cast got so excited, like, for him to do this, because it's a funny story. I'll send you the video, and we'll probably put it in the show notes also, because if people want to watch it, it's fine. It has one singular curse word in it. It is what it is.
Oh no!
But it's better out of his mouth. But I'll give you because it's better with like the really heavy Scottish accent. But I'll give you the story, at least itself. So the story was that Bobby had a friend that had like a stall in a marketplace somewhere in Glasgow, and he was selling incense holders. And some guy comes up to the stall one day and goes, "So what's that?" And he goes, "Well, it's an incense holder. You put the stick here and it burns and it catches the ashes." And she just kind of like scoffs and walks away. He's like, "Okay." So then about 10 minutes later, the same guy comes back and goes, "So what's that?" He's like, I just told you, you came by. It's an incense holder. It does it again. The guy scoffs again and walks away. And the guy's very confused. And so the guy comes back and for the third time goes like, "So what is that?" "You know what it is? It's a bowl of soup." "No, you're a fucking bowl of soup," is the way the story goes. So,
oh my god!
I guess because he had told all of the cast this, that just turned into them all calling each other a fucking bowl of soup, which then turned into it happening on Twitter, which then turned into the fandom using it as a term of endearment. And it's a weird time in fandom, and I do promise it is so much better coming out of Robert Carlyle's mouth than mine, because the accent...
Oh, I can't wait to watch it.
The accent really sells it. So...
everything's better with an accent.
Everything is better with an accent.
That isn't your own.
Yes.
Let me rephrase that, because seeing other people from other countries like go from their original accent into like an American accent always like messes with my brain. I mean, even down to the point of like, I guess when my accent comes out, because it doesn't come out often.
No.
I've had people like, they hear my accent who know me from online and they're just like, oh, you really are from down there. And I'm like, oh God, here we go.
Oh dear.
Like, it's
Yeah, you don't want to hear me talk with a New York accent. It's not fun. It comes out when I'm angry. If I start talking like this, then there's clearly a problem. Someone is about to not be happy.
Thank you all for listening. Join us next time when we discuss Bob's Burgers Season 4, Episode 13, Mazel Tina, and Episode 14, Uncle Teddy. Don't forget to like, rate, and follow the podcast wherever you listen so you can be notified every time we publish a new episode. Follow us at OBDYK_pod on Instagram and TikTok. And if you'd like to join our new book club, you can find the link with more details in our show notes.
This has been an episode of Okay, But Did You Know? A TV and media podcast. It was hosted by Lauren and Katie and edited by Lauren.